Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the What I Love About Sex podcast. So, really interesting point I want to share with you today. I was talking with my client yesterday, and he was saying, well, me and my wife never really needed to go to couples counseling. We were always all right. And I told him, you have to pay attention to your definition of need. Whether you actually needed it or not, look at how you're defining need, because a lot of men, especially when it comes to their relationships, will only feel the need to do something when it's urgent. They will feel the need to do something when they're about to lose it all. And in the case of relationships, a lot of men will wait to the last minute where everything's breaking down and she's about to leave him, and they're like, holy shit, I didn't pay attention to the signs. I didn't take her signs seriously, or her, not even signs. I didn't take her little conversations of, we need to talk about this. We need to figure this out. I didn't take it seriously because it didn't feel like everything was breaking apart. It didn't feel like we needed to do something drastic, but now we need to do something drastic because she's about to leave. And a lot of men, I'm not saying all of you guys, but a lot of you wait till this point of getting where it gets so bad, and then you're like, I need to do this, versus watching the patterns or like within your relationship fall into this place of you guys not doing so well or not thriving, and then fixing it then before it gets too late. So what I told him, and this really resonated with my client, he was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. And this client of mine has really high standards. Like he's very successful. He's in shape. He has a really good head on his shoulders. He's really smart. Really loves his wife, and like is aware of everything they have going for them in this relationship, has like a beautiful family. Like he has a lot going for him. And even he was like, yeah, like, why am I just okay with like just okay? Why am I okay with just okay? And this really hit him, because what I said was, a lot of guys will take the mentality of, if it's not broke, don't worry about it. Like wait till it's broken, then you worry about it. But I said, you want to instead be in the mindset of, it's okay, but what can I do to make it great? It's good, but what can I do to make it great? And when I said that to him, he was like, yeah, why am I just okay? Why have I just been okay with okay? Why have I just been okay with, it's good? When in other areas of my life, I really do, like, there is a part of me that really wants to thrive and have high standards for every area of my life. And I want you listening to hear this too, because right now you might be settling in your relationship or keeping your standards pretty low, and ask yourself, why are you doing that? Are you doing that because you have it's not broke. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Oh, we don't get in fights, so that means we're fine. That's an interesting one I hear often. It's like, well, we never fight, so everything's good. And I'm like, that's your definition of good, is you don't fight? like, come on. Raise your standards a little higher. What makes your relationship really good? What makes it great? How do you aim for that? How do you strive to have that? How do you take actions to get yourself to that place of great and feeling really excited about your relationship, instead of like, well, it's good, we don't fight, but I'll probably never have something that's like this. Like, why the fuck not? You can, if you held that standard. And by holding that standard, it takes a certain level of courage. Because, as this client of mine was sharing with me, he's like, even just thinking about approaching the topic of therapy to my wife, it makes me really nervous. It scares me. And I feel like chicken shit, and I told him that's because it's new. It's not something you've ever done. And instead of feeling those feelings of nervousness and fear and feeling like you're chicken shit, like you gotta understand that those feelings are normal. And as men, I think you guys often I mean, I know this just based on the pressures of society. You feel like you have to just know everything when it comes to your woman, or like you have to always take the lead, right? So therefore you should always know what's going on and you should always know what to do next. And if you don't, that's a really bad thing. And if you don't know, maybe you should just avoid it so that you don't show her you don't know. And then you ignore all these problems, especially in the emotional space, because of that. Because of the fear of I should know and I don't, so let me just put this aside. You know, it's not broken, so we don't have to worry about it, you know? And so I told him, you're supposed to feel uncomfortable at times when you're uncertain. Like that is very normal. And as men, instead of seeing those uncomfortable feelings in your body as a sign to build courage by moving through those uncomfortable feelings and doing the thing that you're afraid of, many of you guys instead just ignore it. And this is where vulnerability becomes so powerful. Right now, it's like you hear vulnerability and a lot of men hear a weakness or opening up and crying or being more feminine, right? And that's the opposite of what vulnerability actually is. If you really know what vulnerability is, it is courage, because it's that place where you're like, oh man, I really don't know what to do here. And I'm going to have to ask her. And it's embarrassing as a man to ask her. But if I don't, I won't know how to make this great. So I'm going to feel embarrassed and I'm going to ask her anyway. And that is vulnerability. And in order to do that, you need courage. So it's kind of ironic because like courage is a very masculine characteristic, right? Like courage is strength. To become more masculine in your relationship, to show her that you're more of a protector, that you're confident and certain of yourself, it's to show courage. But you can only show courage when you're in a state of fear. Otherwise, it's not courageous if fear is not present. Like if you're not being vulnerable, then you can't really be courageous, because then what are you being courageous about? So you really want to lean into those uncomfortable feelings and don't fear them. Don't feel like, oh, this feels really emasculating, I'm going to ignore this. No, it feels uncomfortable and you don't like it, but follow through with taking the action with that discomfort anyway, so that you can raise your standards and get great, not just good, not just okay. Sit in that discomfort and acknowledge it and be like, oh man, I really don't want to talk to her about if she's actually orgasming or not, because fuck, I should know this. I should know what to do for her, but I got to ask her, because if I don't, then I'll never know. And what if our sex sucks for her? Like, I don't know. And I feel like I need to know. And as a man, I'm going to find this out so that I can have a great sex life for me and for her. And this is a shitty feeling because I feel like I should know and I'm afraid and I'm nervous. I feel like I should know this, but I don't. So let me ask her and take care of this, right? That is an example of vulnerability followed by courage, and then taking action, and then getting an answer, and then deepening your relationship because you opened up that window to be able to have these kind of conversations with your partner. And now your partner knows you can talk about this stuff. So she's more open with you, and you're both more open with each other moving forward, and you strengthen your bond, and your sex gets better because you understand each other and you weren't afraid to ask. And you get better in bed because you're getting more feedback and you're more open with your partner and you're feeling more emotionally connected and you know her body better. Like everything gets better on the other side of fear, right? And that's what's tricky about relationships, about the whole relationship emotional space for you men, is like this feeling like I should know this. So if I don't, that means I'm a failure, or she's going to perceive me as not as masculine. So let me back away and let me just ignore that. You know, when that's the opposite of what you need to do. You need to face it. And you have to understand that facing it is going to require courage. And that's going to make you more masculine and have her perceive you as more masculine and have you feel more masculine, because you're going to be taking bolder steps. And also you're going to have a heightened respect for yourself because, as I mentioned, you're raising your standards to be great and go after what can a great relationship be? What can a great sex life be? What does that require? And understand it requires courage and stepping up when you feel uncomfortable and when you don't know something. Like being man enough to be like, I want to make sure you're taken care of. I don't know this, so I just want to find it out, because that's the only way I'm going to get great and give you great. And for all you guys who are like, oh, it's always about just her pleasure. If it really was about just her pleasure, and that's most important to you, and it's not about your ego, it's about her pleasure, then don't you think you'd ask her very specific questions about her pleasure to make sure you 100% know what she needs? Yeah. I know that probably hit for a lot of you. If it's really about her pleasure, then you need to be asking questions, not assuming. And that you asking those questions is going to give you so much confidence and get rid of all the uncertainty in your head when it comes to sex. You're going to be sure of yourself when you get those answers and have those conversations. It's going to come with certainty. It's going to come with relaxation, confidence, courage, masculinity. You're going to be able to relax and let go a lot easier during sex. It's going to help your erections. It's going to help your ability to explore and dive deeper into sex and try new things because you don't have that layer of like, oh, I'm not sure about this. When you tackle those uncertainties, you get to move forward and you get to try new things and open up a bit more and feel freer when it comes to sex. So it is in your best interest and her best interest. This isn't all about her. This is mostly about you and showing you how it benefits her when you do things that benefit yourself in this way of opening up, being more vulnerable and acting with courage. So, yeah, I hope this resonated with you and was a, maybe a little tough love here, but mostly I'm, just looking out for you guys because this client, I'm always looking out for you, but this client of mine, this conversation was so impactful because I feel like I've had so many conversations with other clients touching exactly on this. And it just came out so direct and clear with my client yesterday as he was talking. And I'm like, man, so many of you guys feel the same way. And this would make a great podcast episode. So I wanted to come on here and speak to you all about it. And I hope it helps. And don't forget to check out my freebie, 3 Steps to Fix Your Sex Life, because that is a great place to start if you're not knowing what to do next and you're not sure if coaching is the right option for you. So go check out that freebie. It is in the link of the description of this episode, and that will help you too. I've had a few guys reach out and say that it was really helpful for them already. So check that out. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode or speak to you in the next episode. All right. Have an amazing morning, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you soon. All right. So have an amazing morning, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you soon.